Just keep okay. We're live.
Yay! Hey guys, welcome to sorry. Every time we start the show, there's this moment where we don't know when it's actually going live. So we're just smiling and smiling, and then it takes so long though that it's awkward, and then we start laughing before we ever go live. So that's what you guys are kind of walking into. But hey, welcome to our show today, which Tessa's normally the one who does this part, so just don't mind me.
That's so funny.
She's trying to stress me out.
No. We are live for Momentum TV in a couple different spots. So hey, Leticia and Melanie, great to have you guys here already. We are so glad you're here. We're talking branding and we're doing live Q&A. And we also have a couple questions that were submitted as well, like our Dear Mo segment. So we're going to mix it all up. We have a tech tip towards the end on how to get control over your email. And we also have Kai's Momentum Mini that we're going to show at the end of the sequence or of the show. And I'm going to let Kai take it away. Kai, take it away.
So, hey guys, thank you for joining us for another live. As you know, if you guys want to ask us questions, you have to, you don't have to allow StreamYard access, but it's not going to show us your name. So you may want to put your name first and then your question, just so we know to address you, or else we'll just be saying, hey, you, which is fine too.
But, hey, Facebook user.
Yeah, there should be also a link below where you can ask questions, and they may not get answered today if you use the link, but they will be a part of our Dear Mo, as you'll see today. So you can also put hashtag coach me, and if we've got some time, we'll coach you right now, or we'll reach out to you and do a coaching session live. And we love it when you guys do that because it really gives everybody the opportunity to learn alongside you. So be brave.
Yes.
Coach me.
Exactly. And we had a couple of people that are going to be on their coaching really soon here. So I'm so happy they were at our last event and really came out of their shells. So we're excited to have them. Shanna and I think Wendy said yes too. So we'll get you guys slotted in as soon as possible.
Yeah. So let's get started. So today we are going to be opening up with the Dear Mo. So I have two questions, and they're both about branding. So if you have a question that you've thrown in there and you're wondering why it hasn't come up yet, it may just be that it's not something we're covering right away, but we will tag you if it's something that you've asked, or we'll let you usually know ahead of time, just so you guys know, okay? So the first question we have is, hey ladies, why is branding so important? Now, I get it, and I'm going to let Tessa start with this one.
Oh, well, I mean, branding is how we attract the clients that we want and need. So if we didn't have branding, we could attract the ones that are the totally wrong, the bad boyfriend type lead magnet. So you have to have the right branding so that you get the right people in. And then the branding is also how you convert better. So you close more sales when you have a clear message and a clear focus. So to me, it's not about colors though. Like a lot of people think branding and they think logos and colors, where it's different. It's the whole big picture. But I'll let Kai, she does a great job explaining that part.
Well, when you think about a brand, so usually we have this document called the content generator. And typically what happens is when you fill it out, it asks you for four things. One is, the first thing that it asks is the brand. Like, what is your brand? Now, what do we mean by that? And if you guys all know Seth Godin, you probably do. You've heard him talk about how a brand is how they, meaning your customers, the people who are watching, how they perceive you. It is how somebody decides between Nike and Reebok, what is it, Louis Vuitton or Coach, or Android versus an Apple, right? It's how we make that decision. That is what branding is. But oftentimes, especially as small businesses, we leave it up to chance. We just kind of hope that people see our personality and then they're like, yeah, I totally jive with her. But we don't actually make an intentional effort to brand ourselves. And so you might see cat pictures, even though I'm selling lipstick. And that's not wrong. There's a time and a place. But you have to understand what your brand is about, right? Because if you're just putting random pictures of Rainbow Bright and whatever it is, and that has nothing to do with how you're branding your business, then you're really giving people a mixed message.
Absolutely.
And the thing about branding is it needs to be clear, right? In everything, marketing, branding, how you teach, how you coach, how you bring people in the door, how do you get them over the purchase gap? You know what's going to make you successful aside from just doing it? It is clarity. Making things as clear as possible and as simple as possible. Now, I'm going to let Tessa add more because I think I could go on and on for days about this.
I was letting you go because I'm like, this is great. Keep going. So really, I think that what you were talking about is absolutely, it's dead on. And Kai is so good about explaining how all this works. The only thing I would add to that is that a lot of branding is subliminal. So we are telling people a lot of things when we don't even intend to, because we could select images that begin with the end in mind and are actually putting them towards that path of where you want them to end up in the big picture. Like Nike, and their imagery is all about winning and being strong, and they do that, and then their tagline is also this, that the just do it, obviously, but like just they communicate it every single time they do an ad. And so instead of just picking, like you said, kitten picture or puppy picture, there's like a reason why we select the imagery around our brand.
Yes. And there's this thing called an aspirational character, I guess you could say. And basically what it is you're painting a picture for people who are watching you, for your perfect customer. You're painting a picture of what they want.
Yes.
It's an aspirational. So when you look at Nike, you may not be an athlete, but there's something about it that draws you. Maybe it's that they're so driven, that they're so motivated, that they keep going even when it seems like they can't go anymore. That's an aspirational image that you're seeing, and it is subliminal. It's talking to what you want, right? You want to be that person who keeps going, maybe who has that body. Think about Gerber. Gerber is the knives, right? Or I'm trying to think of, there's another one that all of you would know, but it's basically when they're sharing it with you, they're sharing with you these knives, but it's also like in this setting where they're in the woods and they're conquering the mountains, and you know what I mean? And so it's making you feel like, man, I can do this too. Now that is why we buy, because a brand is not just communicating who you are, it is communicating with people who they want to be. That's who you're speaking to. You're speaking to them where they're at and showing them where they can be. Now that is what branding is, right? It's communication, whether it's visual, whether it's in your content, whether it's through your colors. But here's the problem. When we say that branding is not your colors and your logo, the reason that we say that is because, and we've talked about this so many times, so you've probably heard us say this, but Tessa and I started with what color do I like? And what does the color psychology say about this? And I should make this button yellow or this thing blue because that's what psychology of color teaches you, right? And this font looks really pretty.
It's true.
Go for it.
I've had every color known to man, I feel like, at this point, that I've changed it.
Yes.
Or if something's not performing, you're like, I bet it's my colors, when it's probably not.
No, your colors are important, but they should actually be one of the last pieces that you put. When you think of a brand, a lot of us automatically think of the visual, right? Like, what does that person look like? What is that ad picture? What is their logo design, the font they're using? And that's actually the last thing that you should do until you know the rest. Now, we're going to get into it in this next question, but why is branding so important? It is because it is what's speaking to your perfect audience, to your perfect customer. Without doing your branding, You're kind of just guessing and hoping that people perceive you the way you hope that they do.
Right.
That's really what it
Exactly.
is.
Exactly. You're taking things into your own hands and controlling that outcome. So the branding is really important.
Now, before we move on to the next question, I see here Melanie. It says that Bella wants to know how to rebrand from Bella's Beads and Bombs to another name. Her middle name is Hawaiian, so she's thinking Noelani's Naturals. She really doesn't have an intentional strategy, logo, or anything. I found generic, customizable labels that we tweak. Now, hopefully this next question answers that for you, but if not, if you can maybe ask more and in more detail what she's looking for, then we can really dig into it, okay?
Yeah,
So
we need to have Bella and Melanie
I
on for
know we
one of
do
our
it
coach
all the time.
lives. It would be so cool.
So here's the last question that we have for our Dear Mo segment today. It says, I know branding is important, but I don't have a corporate budget. And I don't really know what I should do as a small business to build my brand. How do I begin?
I'll let you start, Kai.
So how do you begin? It's not with colors. So here's the thing. When you think of your brand, we just talked about why branding is so important. So I want you guys to all ask yourselves, what do you want people to think about you? When they see you, when you put up a post, when you, all those things, what do you want people to think about you? So every time they think of Tessa, they're thinking the same thing. And not just one person, but everyone, right? They're all thinking the same thing about Tessa. Tessa is a tech genie. She can make anything happen. She's right. You want them to,
Yes.
she like has a super sweet personality and she makes things so simple to understand and she takes away the overwhelm. How do you want people to perceive you? That's the first thing that you start at, is what do you want people to think about your brand? Now, if you don't know, you might want to first think about what is your genius, right? What is that success that you bring your clients? What does success look like for you? And it doesn't have to be service-based. It can also be product-based, right? So in Bella's case, the natural lip. So she's helping people who want to use natural lip balm that doesn't have all that stuff. I'm assuming. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
I definitely think that's what it sounds like for sure.
so she wants to take her, okay,
Ah,
and show people that it has natural ingredients. Her original name was from when she was 7. I love it. And here's the thing, it's okay to change over time, right? So there's a lot of businesses, and if I had done the research ahead of time, I could tell you what they are, but there's actually a lot of businesses that you all know today that had a different name when they first started.
Airbnb
Right?
is a great one.
Oh, what was theirs before?
Airbnb had bed and breakfast in it, like fully in it, and then they
Oh,
rebranded to shorten it up. So
to make it easy to remember. That's brilliant.
remember. Yeah,
That's
and it
awesome.
was actually more like couch surfing is what they thought it was going to be in the beginning, and so they, kind of like morphed into a higher quality than just couch surfing, which makes it sound a little bit lower class, like kind of.
Right.
So
And there is couch surfing, just so you all know.
there is a channel for that.
Yes,
There is
yes.
a website for it if you want to do it. but I think that
But
that's a
yes.
great example of what, your overall, what I, in working with Idea Pros and Fred Carey, who does branding, I am blown away by how much he does in branding. You want your name to be unique too. So if that's what your brand, you don't necessarily want to make your company name what you do, because then it's not memorable, like we talked about. So you don't, like, Apple is not at all what everyone else in that industry was doing, right? It's an apple. It's not a computer. It's not anything that would logically be attached to that. It's not a PC. I mean, a personal computer. Like, they went way above and beyond. So to come up with something that people would remember, and then they had to back it up with the branding that they did, which was be different. And they do that with all of their everything that they're creating. So but I do like the tricky part about any name that people can't pronounce is just that you're going to have to do branding around how to refer to it, right? So that people can find it later. But it's easy. And see, you said it because you have like all the Hawaiian background. Kai, you said it so much better than I could. but that's what you're going to run into. Someone who can't pronounce it is probably going to butcher it. And so that is a little bit of a challenge with that name. So, and other thing is that you're branding for bigger than just the lip balms. So you're branding a bigger company. In that case, when you go naturals, you have the option to go into lots of different products and not feel like you're defying your name's, your namesake for it.
Yes. And that is a great thing to remember, is that if it's hard for people to spell, it's going to be very difficult for them to find online. Now, yes, there are companies or people that we all know, but we know them now. So Google has all of this data of how people butcher somebody's name, and now they can figure out what it is. When you're first getting started, the simpler your name is, the simpler your URL, all those things, the better it will be for your customer, so that they can find you and not somebody whose name might sound like yours, right? Or might be spelled in a different way than yours. So that's just something to remember. Now,
I know we kind of went a little, I'm glad we got to cover Bella's question while we were doing this one.
But yeah, so sorry.
On a budget. I think that was not a budget, but you don't have corporate extra huge amounts of money. When you could attend our branding event, that's going to be really easy fit because you can learn a lot about branding at our next Momentum Party, which is in November 19th. So that's one, because we're going to go through all this. And you can also, we have a couple of trainings that we've done on Momentum Studio for how to get clear on your muse or your target audience, and that know your magic. So some of this you could do some preemptive work yourself, do the research, and then you can actually get ahead of the game. But the actual branding doesn't have to, I think unless you want to throw something else in there, it's not, it really is just about matching your personality. And if I had known that I was going to change my logo as many times as I ended up doing it, I wouldn't have put as much time and energy into the initial logo.
So true, guys.
Yes, even with Momentum Studio, and we've been 3 or 4 months that we have rebranded twice. Not only the colors, but we redid the logo completely. All of our branding has changed because we realized who we were. So I think once you get to know who you are and what you like and that audience that you want to talk to, then you can kind of morph it. And people, you guys might not have even noticed, we went from navy blue to black. But that was a big change for all of the material that we had to go through. But we're like, you know what? We have parties. It's black. We don't need the blue. So just do something, and just know that it's going to tweak, and you can change almost anything online in a second. That maybe your videos may be the only thing that you can't change really super quickly, but they'll see the evolution of your brand. And then Canva is great. Canva, Wix, all of those have logo builders. Definitely don't spend a ton of money on your first logo, because just you can create something that is high quality enough that your target audience, it matches who you're marketing to, at least.
And the thing is, branding doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. Branding isn't about how much money can you spend to buy this fancy business card that's super thick and doesn't bend, or it's not about that. Now that might come down the line, right? Like way later on. But as Tessa said, we've evolved, because as your business grows, you grow, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now think about corporations, right? They start off as something else, and then they become this name that and it's simply because now they've got the budget to get a whole team to then create this image and this look and this feel, and they've got all these brains. Now you don't have that, and you don't need it, right? So how do we start as a small business without going broke? Really, it comes with, like I said, the first thing you want to do is, how do you want people to perceive you? Because you need to be intentional about your message, right? So once you figure out how you want people to see you, which is essentially your brand, right?
Mhm.
What your brand is, how people perceive you. That's what you're communicating. Now, if I know how I want them to perceive me, now I can actually work backwards. If I want them to perceive me that way, what are some of the things that I need to figure out? Well, I also want to make sure that it's in line with who I am. Because if I want you to perceive me as super professional, like super corporate, she's a corporate trainer and she goes into IBM and blah, 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 then the image that I put out is probably going to be very different from who I am. Now, am I okay with that? For me, no, because that's not who I am. You're going to meet me, you're going to hear an F-bomb drop, you're going to be like, wow, that was not what I was thinking when I went to your website. So you really want to make sure, especially when you're a small business and you are your brand, you want to make sure that it is aligned to who you are, because it's a lot of work to try to be someone you're not.
It is. And there is a lot to be said about not trying to make everyone happy. Like Bella, there's probably, if you think about people who are buying a lot of your products, like I want to stick them in our swag boxes
Number
one of
one.
these
Oh,
days.
yeah.
We need to do that. But the people that are going to really love your product, and you'll start to see them surface, you're going to be able to say, oh, that's my ideal target audience is this person. And you can start seeing, that doesn't mean that you can't market to everyone else, but understanding who you really work well with and that is attracted to you and your business is key. It's the foundation of everything that you're going to build in your business. It's the foundation of every advertising campaign, every flyer that you create. Every time, so this is just a good activity for Melanie, for Bella, is to write down and put, list on a paper who her target audience is. So all the characteristics of that target audience that she can think of. Are they male? Are they female? Are they a specific age? What is she thinking in her head? And then the next line down, write the pain points or the problems that you're solving. And start everything branding related is going to start there. And then you're going to go into, okay, well, how do I make them happy? How do I solve these problems? How do I make them happy? And then the brand is everything that displays that. So, for Momentum Studio, we want to be fun, and we want to be very educational and have very real conversations with ladies and help them through tough things in their entrepreneurial journey and their business. So that's what we build. Everything that we do, topics, our parties, they're all based on helping women to empower women in their businesses, right?
Yes, and it's about it being simple. So we keep all of that in mind. Now, a few things that you can do in terms of an exercise is like, what are the words? So now you know how you want people to see you. Now you know if it's aligned with you or not. But now, what are some of those words? If you were to choose like 3 to 4 words that describe your business, your brand per se, what would they be? That might be something that's a part of your personality. For you, it might be natural. You know what I mean? There might be some other words that you add to that. Easygoing, whatever that looks like. And for us, it's, making business simple, making it fun, right? And how do we do that? And that is what we think about every time we create something. Like whenever we're brainstorming a new party, how do we make this easier? How do we make this easier? How do we make this easier? Now, how do we make it fun? Like, what are we going to do now, right? And so that's what you have to go back to when you have those like kind of parameters, I think is the word that I'm thinking of, borders or whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have a defined edge.
Thank you. Now you can start to build upon that, right? Now that you've kind of figured it out and you've gotten the lay of the land. And then every time you brand, it's in the pictures that you choose. It's in the posts that you write. It's in the how you communicate. It's in all those things. So for example, when I go to Instagram, and I think, okay, we want it to be fun. So then that means the image that I pick has to be fun. It can't be brawl
Stuffy,
and dab and stuffy and like
or muted colors. If we were going to put out a post, it's going to be brighter colors, like the colors that we chose, and it's going to be definitely exciting, not depressing.
Exactly. And so that's what we have to think about. So when we write the post, is it in line? Like, it's not just the image, it's not just the color. It's also like what you're writing. Like, are you have this beautiful, fun post, and then it's like, and have fun today. And that's it. And people are
Or
like, wow, that was like absolutely not helpful. Like, we're trying to be informational and educational. We're trying to make it simple. We're trying to be fun. And I had 3 words for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to make sure your brand voice, your identity, your personality, all of those things come together to create the brand. And none of those cost me any money.
right. And I think that the other thing when we're making business simple, our post is well organized, easy to read. We're not just blobbing on a gigantic paragraph because we want people to be able to skim. So little things like that can over time build the relationship that you want with your target audience. Like they are picking up on that immediately. Or putting on our past videos maybe, and this is just something that I know I can do better for everyone audience watching. I might be able to pick out the specific times in our video that we cover different things. And we always do the 2 questions and make sure that's in the post. But if that's what you want to do, you just always have that top of mind. I want to make business simple. I want to make it fun, and just add that fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let me just make sure. So we talked about the budget, and then where should we start? We asked those questions that you should be starting with, right? So again, branding doesn't have to cost you anything, literally. And now let's get to the colors. Now that you've figured out your personality, your fun, your just as Tessa said, so we're not going to get muted colors. We're not going to be brown and cream. Like,
right.
that's just not going to fit.
Even if it's your favorite.
Brand.
Right. And I made the mistake of going with my favorite colors most of the time. It's like, oh, hey, I love blue. Let's go with blue. Or, it's corporate, so I should probably go blue. And like this muted blue is actually like what I chose in the beginning of my business. So go ahead, Kai. I know you have fun stuff to say about
that's
color.
perfect. That's exactly what I did the exact same thing. Because I came from corporate. So I think a lot of us, we come from a job or a business, or we have a thought about so there's this thing that we're going to bring up in the party, but I'll just give you a little glimpse of it. We were talking about what do people think about when they think of an acupuncturist? And the first thing that we said was calm. And yet we have somebody whose brand is the exact opposite of that. And it makes sense. Now, it makes sense because she took all of the different elements to create her brand. She didn't just think, okay, well, if I'm going to be an acupuncturist, a healer, then I should go with what everyone thinks. Because here's the thing, look at your competition. A lot of them have those same colors. So if you're trying to stand out in the crowd, then the last thing you want to do is be just like everybody else.
Right. And who we're talking about, Miss Brooke Foreman. I'm going to tag you on this because we love your brand.
Yes, you do. So yes. I think that was all of our our Dear Mo questions. Did you have anything else? I don't see any other questions.
Nope, I don't know. Leticia, maybe you have a question because I know you're working with a lot of people as well, and maybe you saw some questions come up. I do have some other questions that I had from my other channel. I'm going to start scrolling through them, but we do have 2, like we said, we have 2 additional segments, and I did put our party link in the website. So the funny thing is, like we said, we have done a lot of rebranding. So one great example of rebranding is checking out our 2 pages. So Melanie put up the momentumstudio.com, which is totally perfect because you guys can see one of our versions of our brand. The other one is party.themomentumstudio.com. Now that has our actual events. And so it's easy to be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on your brand because you feel like you have to go one way and then you're like, but this is really fun. Let's go this direction. So we're actually combining the 2 because we've learned that there's, we have to be a blend of the 2, kind of a day and night version. And so it's an always going process. Like I know my name changed from Ashford Virtual Solutions to Ashford Digital. I mean, I changed all colors. I changed what I was doing. So just know it's super, super flexible. And that's a good question, Leticia. How often should someone rebrand? I'm going to put, nope, that does not work. Let me take off the other branding. Like learning here how to do this so it doesn't.
And then we're going to switch to a different one, which will be really fun.
Yeah, right? How often should someone rebrand? Well, I honestly think it's as needed. It's not, you don't just say, okay, every 2 years or every 5 years. There's no magic number. But great question.
It's like clothing, right? So does it fit? Does it not fit? Right? Like it, for the winter, I mean, and obviously you don't want to like be branding each season, but we all know at the winter, sometimes those clothes get a little bit snug and it's time to, break out the Christmas pants that you wear to the dinner table. It's the same thing with your brand. So if it doesn't fit you anymore, because you are going to grow and evolve. You are not a Nike and not yet. If you were, you're going to be consistent. You might become a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, but Nike has been Nike for as long as I can remember. Apple has been think different, right? And they're kind of the rebel of the PC or the computer community, right? They went the opposite direction that everyone else is. And so and they can keep going along with that. So they can be rebellious and do something else, but it's still in line with who they are. It's the same thing with your brand. Sometimes things just don't fit anymore. And then it's okay. You have our permission to let it go. Let it go and let it die, right?
And I had somebody tell me that they had spent so much time. This is really, really common. They spent so much time trying to get their logo. In fact, my boyfriend and the camper van business that we did, I know that we spent hundreds of dollars trying to get to a logo, and he ended up drawing a logo himself to try to get closer to what he needed. And even then it wasn't like perfectly dead on. And then we never put it on the website because it was never perfect. And so to him, and he's very picky. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I do logos and I refuse to make them because I was like, this is a lot more, and so when you have that over an expectation that it has to be perfect, you actually won't get anything out. Or, you have put all this time and love and energy into a logo. It doesn't fit anymore. It's not your brand. It's not calling to your target audience, but you've already done so much. You feel like you can't let it go, like Kai said. And so I just encourage you to spend less time on your logo and your colors and spend more time on your personal brand and what you want to do, what you want people to think about you. And that's something Kai said in the very beginning that I think is absolutely, it should actually just kind of resonate in your head all the time. You will always be on track if you're focusing on what you want to be known for and what others value about you. And if you've got that focus, then you're going to keep attracting those people that value and love what you do.
And then that's how you share your story. So your story is essentially, we always talk about storytelling. And I'm sure that word is used so much out there in social media. I hear it all the time. I'm even doing a conference and they asked me to talk about storytelling. And I was like, oh my goodness, I love it. It's like a love-hate relationship because I've heard it so often, but it is important. And but it has to align with your brand. So your story is like what backs up your brand, so to speak, right? So when I think of how I want people to perceive us, I want them to perceive us as fun and as, something like where we make business simple. And then on the other end of that, okay, well, how do I want them to feel? Then I want them to feel empowered and Then the story that I might share is maybe going to be from, how, and both of us, we share this all the time, how complicated we made it and how much more fun we're having now that we've made it more simple. Right. And we tell you that like we're trying to save you from the years that we spent and wasted money and time.
Absolutely.
On a color, on a logo, I don't know how many times I have printed and reprinted and reprinted and reprinted my business cards. I can't even tell you how much money I've wasted on business cards.
Just hundreds of
them, they come back. I'm like, actually, I want my brand to be a little bit different.
And I did the same thing. I actually gave business cards away that didn't even have my business, that again, logo on it because I was so torn. I just had it in typed words. I was like, well, this is sad. But then at some point you're just like, well, I need to have something to hand out. Well, guys, you don't have to have business cards to hand out. In
Yeah.
fact, the best way to do it is to get people's information and text or email them back, because you handing a card out to somebody it's not an actionable item.
Yeah.
So asking if you could send somebody something, having that in your pocket as far as like, hey, I have some great logo templates that would be great for you, or a branding guide that might help you pick your colors. Well, it's going to be a heck of a lot better than giving your business card to them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So Letitia, did we answer your question? We did. How often should you rebrand? So as you outgrow it, you rebrand.
I
And
love it.
rebranding could look as simple as changing your color to reflect your personality more. It could be as simple as changing the stories that you tell. It could be, making your logo simpler, whatever that looks like for you. But even just changing your picture. So I know a girl, and all of you may have heard of her. Her name is, I don't know her name, but her business is called the Content Planner, Kat Gaskin.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So she actually changes her colors every year. And her colors change so she's known for the Content Planner, I actually have one, but it's a content planner. It's like a social media planner. And she always has 3 colors every year. And so she actually changes her color on her, like you can go scroll back to last year and it's going to be a whole different set of colors and styling than it is this year, because she changes it with whatever colors she's offering in the content planner.
Nice.
So you can change and be what you want to be. Just make sure that's in line with who you are, and then be consistent, right?
Right. But there's an image that it stays the same for the logo, the branding, the messaging. The only thing she's changing out is the color. And that does actually make it really interesting, because you think about how many times somebody sees your branding, and that you might actually bore somebody if you did the same color too long, right? Yeah. So throwing in a new accent color, I know we talk about color palettes and things like that in our party and how to pick those. We actually have a couple templates on Canva that make it easy to drag and drop some of your colors and your branding in quickly. So if you haven't already signed up for our next party, which is the Let's Get Branded, definitely do it. We'll play the video at the end as well. But I definitely don't want to run out of time for us to show our the next 2 segments. So I'm going to take down this one, and I'm going to take down us so that you guys can actually see everything as well.
Oh, and sorry, feel free to keep asking questions, guys. So if you have anything else that we haven't answered, feel free to ask. And if there's more time, we'll definitely answer them.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to play this segment, and we're going to switch to a new system, so this will always be fun after. Next week, we're actually going to be able to play longer videos and do these segments while being live with you. It'll be very exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Kai's Momentum Mini first. All right, it's going to mute us, Kai, just so you know.
Welcome to another Momentum Mini. Thanks for joining me. My name is Kai Alday, and today we're going to talk about how to get unstuck. Now, actually, whenever we talk about momentum, it's how do we get unstuck? How do we get things rolling? And today I'm going to share with you something that I always use when I'm stuck in a jam. And it is my little tactic. It's called SOS. Now, yes, you've heard this before, right? Save our souls, save our ships. In this case, it is a reminder to me that whenever I'm stuck, these are the 3 things that I'm trying to remember to do whenever I'm stuck. The first thing, the first S, stands for specific. So what is the actual problem? You want to dig down and really understand, what is the problem that I'm actually trying to tackle? Right? That's the first thing. So you got to get super specific. You can't just say, oh, the problem is that I'm not getting anything done. Well, why aren't you getting anything done? What's getting in your way? The more granular you can get, the more successful you're going to be, right? Then there is O, which is over the top simple, right? So we have S, specific, and then O, over the top simple. And that is, how do I make this as simple as possible? And it's very much like the first one where you're going to get specific, except instead of getting super specific about the problem, you want to be overly simplistic about the solution. So don't think to yourself, okay, well, I'm stuck and I need to get work done, and it's because my schedule is crazy. Okay, then you're thinking, what's the simple solution? Is like, I got to do more work. No, like, what is even simpler than that? Like, cut it down to as simple as possible. Like, I need to sit down for 1 hour and I need to do X, right? That's how simple you want it to be. Don't try to tackle everything. Try to tackle one thing. As super overly simple as you can get, that's what you want to do. And now the last S is strategic, right? So I say strategic because oftentimes what happens is it's kind of like writing your to-do list. You write this to-do list and it has 10 items, and then you just start kind of doing it like, oh, I feel like doing this, I want to do this, I really should do this, I'm going to wait to do this later when I have more time. No, you do what is going to take the most things off of your plate. Don't try to just do the things that aren't going to make you feel better, right? Usually there's like one overlying thing that's been really kind of sitting heavy on you. That's the thing that you should be trying to do. Or the one thing that is going to kind of take off 5 of the to-do list items, do that thing. So make sure you're doing it in the right order. Don't try to skip to Z because that's the result you want, because you're not going to get that result of being done when you still got 10 other things. Instead, you're going to waste more time trying to, oh gosh, this isn't working, I got to go back and do that. So get super specific, over the top simple, and then be strategic about what you're doing. Don't just do things to do it because you've got to do it, and it's what's going to move the ball forward. Thank you guys for joining me for this Momentum Mini, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great one.
Awesome. Thanks, Kai, for the Momentum Mini. That one was really good. I was writing down notes. I'm like, I need to do this. And it helps. I think that makes a big difference. Over the top simple is, I love that one.
Yeah. And it's so funny because if you guys have ever watched my Momentum Minis, we were talking about how it's a miracle that this one's under 5 minutes. I always say it's going to be a mini episode, and then it's like, I'm texting Tessa, sorry, it's 10 minutes and I can't make it anymore.
So this time, if we want to go live and play it on StreamYard, you have to have a shorter clip, under 5 minutes. So both of us were like really seriously hauling booty through our segments, truly. So I have one more segment for you guys, and then we'll come back. And if you do have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. And again, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and definitely get reminders about our shows. If you're taking off, at least get the reminder, sign up to get our notifications by text so we can let you know when we're live. But it is every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And so that is 2 p.m. Pacific time, right?
You're still on. We have something to announce. So we will announce it after this.
Announcements. Okay, so this one, I think it's pretty short. So I think I stuck under the limit. Hello, everyone. Tessa here with Momentum Tech Tip for this week. So if your email is absolutely bogging you down and you can't get ahead, I have the perfect tool that will help you to sort and clean up your email really, really quickly. It is actually called Maelstrom, and you can sign up with your Google email, Outlook, or Yahoo. I actually have a Google account that I'm logged into at this very moment. So it's going to ask you to connect, and basically it's going to go grab all of your emails and put them in. But now, what does Google not do for us? It doesn't sort well. So you can't really see all of the emails that come from Apple without doing a search. And sometimes you get all of them, sometimes you don't. So as you can see here, it puts them into groups. You can choose to have it by sender, by people you've emailed in the past. This is a great way to kind of like go through and archive everything that you've done. Clearly, Kelly and I have a lot of work together because we have 119 emails. And you can actually sort by subject line, which might be more common things that are coming up in your feed, and unsubscribe. Now, this one saves you even more time. I'm so excited about the features that Maelstroms has inside of it. But you can actually come in here, it knows which ones have an unsubscribe. So I'm guessing it looks at which ones have the unsubscribe link in the bottom email, but maybe it's just categorizing them. I don't know, but it's extremely accurate. So all of these, like I have a lot of Asana emails and I can unsubscribe and not get any more of the Asana emails if I don't want to. I can see like this one's the speaker lab. Even if there's some other emails that are coming in, I could decide, you know what, I'm just going to move them all. I could actually move them. I could train the system to automatically do certain activities. I can also forward all of them. So when we were looking at some of our receipts, if I come in here and it's all my Apple, charges for apps that I have on my phone, I can forward them. I can actually forward them all at the same time. You don't want to go too big because trust me, it can bog down the system a lot. But you can forward them over to your billing or your accountant. You can actually set chill, which is fun. Chill is if I don't want to find out about this, I don't want to look at it right now, but I don't want it to bug me and be in the top of my inbox. So I can hit chill and it will return the item to my inbox when I want it. So if I just know, hey, I'm not going to have to deal with it for another month, I could actually pick a date and chill it till then, and then it's going to come back and I can deal with it then. I can also unsubscribe. So if this is when I don't want to get any more, I can actually unsubscribe from it right here automatically. So I have a couple of them. So this one, let's say I'm going to go ahead. Actually, she's great. So I don't want to take that out. Okay. Let's take this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and unsubscribe. I can always resubscribe if I want. I'm going to unsubscribe and delete the ones that are in there, or I can unsubscribe only. Let's say I want to unsubscribe only. Then it's going to go do that action. If it's possible for it to do, then it's going to do it automatically. There are some of them that it's easy for it to do that action for us, which is amazing. You can actually block or spam people. And then let's say I want to just archive all these because I don't necessarily want to get rid of them. I'm just going to archive them. And then it just moves on to the next one. So you can keep going through very quickly. And this is my favorite little feature over here on the side by my video. It's actually telling you how many emails you've cleaned out. And if you are getting, how much time you've saved, because this can actually do a huge amount of cleanup and how many more you have. So if your goal is to get to 0 emails, which I honestly it would be amazing if I got there. But if you wanted to do that, you could in here. And there's also shopping time. You could say, oh, really old emails I just want to clear out. It's amazing at just cutting that time to get your email back under control. Clearly, I need to work on it. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. That is your tech tip for the day. Thank you all.
That was awesome. I was writing it down. So is it maelstrom.co?
Yes.
Nice.
And I put the link in the comments. And honestly, there's a free version and you can do quite a few emails. I have too many emails, so I have to buy the version to get past a certain point, but it will only download chunks for you. So the free version gives you like a bunch at a time, and then you can just keep working through. So yeah, it makes a huge difference. And you don't realize how much those subliminal things, like we keep going into our email or we feel overwhelmed by email so easily because it's just there. It's haunting us.
I literally will just open up a new email. I feel like I'm not the kid. Yes, exactly. I'm with Leticia. My inbox is a hot mess. So.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I saw that. That's awesome. And so check it out, but try it and see what you think. That like even the forwarding capability of multiple receipts, that's huge. I mean, that saved me hours of having to go one email, and trying to keep track of it. But it can be trained too to say any email that comes in, like this Apple receipt one, can go automatically and forward to another person. So check out the features. I know we only have a couple more minutes, so I wanted to make sure we talk about do our announcement. And then possibly play our video if we have time.
Yeah, it's not going to be a long announcement. So, one is we have the party coming up, and right now it is on sale at the early bird pricing, and that's going to end on Sunday or Monday?
Yes,
Sunday. So if you want to get it at $20 discounted, then now is the time to do it. Don't wait until after. And it's always fun with a friend. So tell them now so they can also get the discounted price. instead of waiting until you all are paying full price. Okay. Now, the
Exactly.
other thing, and this one is all about branding. So we give you a pre-party PDF, and then we also do one after the party so that the party can flow quickly and it's way more fun. That being said, we have two opportunities and we want you to share this with other people. The first idea is we are going to actually be having some guest like trainers on the party. So we are actually going to work with them, they're going to give us some of the content. We're going to actually help them create this because it's our party. So we want it to feel good, but we're going to help them create it. And then they're going to be able to meet our audience through this. So that's a great way of doing it. And if you guys aren't, you have something that you teach that you love to teach, please let us know. You can message us, you can comment, and remember to tag us, because if you don't tag us, we're not going to see it.
Yes,
and then
please.
the other thing that we wanted to announce was that we're actually going to, Tess and I have been talking about our show, like how do we create this show so that's more fun? Like we're always trying to make it useful, make business simple, and make it fun, right? That is what we're trying to do.
That's our brand.
Yeah. So how do we make it more fun? And we're like, well, we should make it a little bit more like the party. So we actually want to have a segment like a game show segment. Now, this is not all sussed out, so I'm not going to lie to you. But if you're willing to take a chance and be on this game show, we're going to ask for, I think, 5 people. We're not 100% sure. I'm just putting this out there, letting you all hear. But we're going to try to have 5 people during this game show. It will be live, not on the same day, but it will be live. And then it's the beauty of it for you is, number one, you're going to win something. Like, what's not fun about that? Number 2 is you get to share it out, but also we are going to put it on all of our programs. So if you guys don't know, we are here in the WEN group. We share this out to our personal pages, but we are also we're also going live in a different Facebook group that has 400,000 people and a TV show.
Yes, I was going to say it. We're going to have our own Apple TV and Roku TV show, so you'll be able to truly see the Kai and Tessa show in like a bigger form.
And that way, I mean, you get more exposure too, because we're going to have little clips about you and your business and where people can find you. So I'm just saying, it's a win-win. You can be our guinea pig. You'll have fun. You win prizes, and we pimp you out. So what's wrong with that, folks?
I know. We want to just help support women and business owners, all business owners, but for specifically here in the Women's Entrepreneur Network, we want to make sure that we're empowering other people. So if you want, you can always go to our website, go to Momentum Studio. There's a live chat on there. So just chat and let us know if you're interested in being a speaker. And some of our topics for like future, I mean, we have branding now, we have Unmask Your Freebie in December, because the November one's branding, December is Unmask Your Freebie, and January is Sexy Sales. And so I know, and we haven't even figured out all the rest of the topics. So if we aren't covering something that you think we should, and as part of a business, because there's so many topics we could cover for businesses, let us know, and we can get you get you looped in, or if you want to do a video and share it and say, hey, Kai and Tessa, I have a great idea. I mean, like, seriously, take advantage of this. You guys should know how to do your PR so that you get the maximum, exposure possible. Leticia with her, what's the name of your business, Leticia? I know it's like Besties, your digital bestie. I think it is. I love the name of it. She's awesome. I think, we've got Leticia who came on to our show a couple weeks ago. She's been in our party. She'll be at our next one, right, Leticia? I love that I couldn't even wink. I don't know what that was. But we love having you guys here. We love providing this support. We want to see you guys succeed for sure. So I think I'll let you take it away, Kai, for the final thought, if you would like.
We want to see the video. Leticia, girlfriend, write down your website Hello, she's trying
Yes.
to pimp you out. Just saying. Anyhow,
I know.
do you have that?
Don't make her too busy because I need her.
This is probably why she doesn't tell me about Leticia. I just see Leticia here and there.
She's amazing. She's awesome. Yes, so we have a video. We have our new one that's coming soon. We haven't gotten all the video clips. I just wanted to show you guys what we did for our, that was the pricing event that we just finished. It was amazing. We had lots of like spectacular women that were making, really deciding what their prices were going to be. So we're going to show that right now.
Oh, this is for the pricing one?
It was the pricing one. I want to show what the party's like
I wish
because
you guys could see the branding one because I mean, if you remember Saved by the Bell or
awesome. I think
or Madonna's like back in the day, right?
Oh, wait,
Madonna like with the leather jacket and the scrunchie and the side ponytail, all those things. You guys will love the next video. So by next week, we'll have the other party.
To show a little tiny sample. I'm gonna see if I can get it. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. You have to, but if I can't get a screenshot, that's cool. But oh man, it's just I took a picture of it and my boyfriend was like, wow, 80s.
Yes. If you go to my, oh gosh, I don't even know where I posted it. Anyways, you will be seeing pictures of us. And you know what'll be fun is if you guys posted some pictures and tagged us of you guys back in the 80s, or if you ever attended a party where you dressed like an 80s baby, I would love to see those and share them with other people if you don't mind. Oh, I look very angry.
Oh, I know we both do. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she's showing all of it. There you go. You guys are seeing it all.
Well, now we're doing our hair.
You guys should like listen to the video because it's hilarious. Like we are just like, how do we do our hair?
What are we doing? Is this 80s? I don't know. This is most of our laughing. It's going to be hilarious, guys. I love
like
it.
20 minutes of laughing and 2 minutes of commercial.
I know we're working on that. We almost have it done, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew. I mean, we have so much fun, and a lot of people ask us, why do we do the themes? And I know we have 2 minutes. I think it breaks down a lot of barriers that people are naturally put up about getting all dressed up. And Leticia, you can let us know if you enjoy doing the dress up part, because I'm super curious. But I had a lot of people that are like, I felt better. I felt like I was like protected when I needed to be, and then I could just come out of my shell, and it just makes it easier. So 80s party.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to dress up in neon? I just don't know.
And if you find neon somewhere and you're like, gosh, that's a big bunch of neon, you got to let me know where neon is right now, because I have had a hard time. I have a tie-dye shirt is what I was wearing in that, and some scrunchies. That's about all I can find is scrunchies.
You're going to be so decked out. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, it's going to be great. Well, thank you guys all for being with us for Momentum TV. We're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time or 2 p.m. Pacific time. And we'd love to have you guys on as coaching quickies, or on get your 80s videos up on the pages. I know Leticia sent me one. She sent one and she's like, I was one for 80s.
I love the 90s. The early 90s were awesome too, but you were like 0.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.
The video today, guys, but we will have.
Yeah, we ran out of time. I will post. Yeah, we're gonna post the new one. We'll post the new one. All right. Thank you guys.
Bye guys. See you next week.